Good morning and welcome to the Malaysian island of Langkawi here in the far north of Malaysia. Langkawi is a really beautiful, pristine, lush tropical island here in the north of Malaysia. It's only a couple of kilometres south of Thailand to be exact. It's actually a tax-free island as well, so very interesting place here in Langkawi. We've had just a very quick visit to Langkawi just here for the one night. But yeah, already seen lots of the beaches yesterday, which was really nice. This morning we're actually going to head out and do the cable car first, which is one of the most scenic cable cars in the world apparently. Then later on this afternoon we're going to fly FireFly, which is a Malaysian Airlines low-cost subsidiary. They've been around quite some time now, since around 2007 I believe. Going to fly a Boeing 737-800 all the way down to Penang, just a couple hundred kilometres or around a 30-40 minute journey. Only cost 150 ringgit the flight, which is around 50 Australian dollars inclusive of seat selection and luggage. So yeah, absolute bargain fare here in Malaysia. Airfares and also taxis, grabs, all that sort of stuff, very cheap because the price of fuel and the price of oil is so cheap here. So yeah, not expecting too much with this experience today. It's going to be very much a no-frills experience. But yeah, it should be an interesting one nonetheless. So yeah, we're going to head out, check out the cable car. I'm going to head back to the airport, back to the hotel and go to the airport a bit later on. So yeah, until a little bit later on this afternoon, I'll see you at the airport, and yeah, let's fly down to Penang. For your information, just before we head to the airport, today's flight is indeed an incredibly quick one. It's only a great circle distance of 129 kilometres down to Penang today, so that probably makes it one of the shortest commercial flights in the whole of Asia, I would think. So short indeed that you can actually get a ferry between the two islands. I believe it takes around 3 hours. Anyway, welcome to Langkawi International Airport. Immediately prior to the pandemic, Langkawi's airport served around 3 million yearly passenger movements. The vast majority of these are just domestic flights throughout Malaysia, although there are international flights operated by AirAsia and Scoot down to Singapore. Interestingly enough, Fly Dubai also is starting a flight next year to Dubai via Penang that will also operate out of this airport, so that's an interesting flight route indeed. Anyway, let's now head into the terminal, get checked in for our FireFly flight down to Penang today. Interestingly enough, the whole island of Langkawi is actually a tax-free, duty-free island. So even when you're flying domestically in and out of Langkawi, you're actually going to see all these duty-free shops. And interestingly enough, because of the tax-free status of the island of Langkawi, when you fly out of Langkawi, you are able to take stuff brought duty-free off the island. But when you're flying to elsewhere in Malaysia, it's kind of like your usual allowance would apply as if you're flying into Malaysia from elsewhere. So yeah, interestingly enough, to reach a check-in hall, you actually got to go through a customs check, basically just to ensure you're not taking more than your allowance off the island, which I believe is 1 litre of alcohol and potentially some other allowances as well. Technically, I think you need to have stayed on the island for at least 48 hours to be eligible to take duty-free off the island. I'm not sure exactly how well policed this is, but yeah, if you're the sort of person taking duty-free off the island, may be worth just keeping supporting documentation to support such claims with you when leaving Langkawi. Anyway, on to a check-in now, and what more could I say? It's a very straightforward, old-fashioned man check-in for FireFly today. Counter's not too busy, and I'm swiftly greeted by a friendly agent who quickly checks me in. So yeah, minimum of fuss, I'm checked in within a few minutes later. So really good start here with FireFly today. Certainly no complaints, even though it's a budget carrier. Anyway, with that very hassle-free check-in out of the way, believe it or not, I can actually visit a lounge today courtesy of Priority Pass. Such a small airport, there's still a Plaza Premium Lounge here. Not a bad lounge, this Plaza Premium. It's open 7 AM to 10 PM daily. It's before security, so it caters to both domestic and international flights. So it's a good little lounge, this Plaza Premium Lounge here in Langkawi. Definitely one of the smaller ones. It's a pretty compact one, but definitely a very comfortable one. And yeah, definitely lives up to the standards I think are pretty high of Plaza Premium lounges in Asia. So yeah, there's a small selection of food and snacks, and also help yourself little fridge which has got soft drinks and also Carlsberg beer. Aside from this, there's also a self-serve coffee machine which does half decent, although nothing amazing coffee as you would expect, so yeah, nothing too bad there. There's also a small a la carte menu as well, so there's a few hot food options on a demand, so that's really good. I just settle for a pasta carbonara and a beer for lunch, so yeah, really good way to start our very lengthy 130 kilometre flight down to Penang. Anyway, aside from that, very comfortable seating here, good range of amenities at the Plaza Premium, pretty good Wi-Fi as well. So yeah, very good all-round lounge, especially considering it's catering to generally quite short flights. And just like that, it's been a very nice, pleasant little visit to the Plaza Premium. But yeah, we've got to leave now. We're boarding about to call. We've still got to go through security, which is just outside the lounge. So yeah, let's head there now and check out our aircraft taking us down to Penang today. So there's our Boeing 737-800 aircraft out there on the tarmac in Langkawi. It's approximately 12.7 year aircraft at the time of taking this flight. It's originally delivered to Malaysia Airlines, which is the parent company of FireFly, back in March 2011, and then it's been transferred over to FireFly just this year, back in January. Technically, the aircraft is leased, although it's an unknown leaser who actually owns this aircraft. I'm a little bit surprised FireFly don't deploy one of their ATR 72s on this route instead of the Boeing 737-800, being such a ridiculously quick flight that you can literally take a ferry between the two destinations. But yeah, I guess there must be enough demand for a jet service on this route. Anyway, boarding is called only a few minutes behind schedule, and yeah, it's a short walk out onto the tarmac to reach our plane here in Langkawi. And just like that, welcome on board our former Malaysian Airlines Boeing 737-800. Certainly looks like it's had quite the facelift in the interior of the aircraft. It's basically a stock standard narrow body aircraft layout, all in economy class free layout. First impressions look really good. Definitely a really bright and cheerful looking cabin. Once I take my window side seat, I can definitely report FireFly have really done a good job of refreshing what is otherwise a fairly old aircraft at around 13 years of age. Definitely looks pretty fresh and pretty modern. You got slimline leather seats that look pretty darn comfy indeed. Seat pitch itself is fairly tight, as you would expect with a budget carrier, around 29 to 30 inches, but that's no big drama for such a ridiculously short flight. A fairly standard tray back fold out table, though what I do really like about it is the USB power, including a USB-C power, so that's really amazing, especially for a budget carrier. And also there's a little device holder, a separate device holder there as well, so that could come in handy to stow your smaller stuff for your own entertainment, so that's really good. Also at seat pocket you've got in-flight literature, the in-flight magazine, and the in-flight menu, which looks like some really good, great Malaysian favourites on there that you can get on this very short flight.
Flight 2701, Pushback, Malaysian flight. Flight S to Penang this afternoon is Captain Ross Booster and Captain Mohammed Rizwan, and assisted by crew approximately 30 minutes. Ensure your solar service on board for electronic devices is turned off. Not for the electronic devices must be stored in the overhead compartment and secure before takeoff.
So without further ado, it is now time to push back out of Langkawi International Airport, taxi to the runway and take off out of this beautiful island down to Penang today. So yeah, once in there, I'll then offer my thoughts and assessments on the in-flight service and amenities. So yeah, for now, just sit back, relax and enjoy our stunning takeoff out of Langkawi today. Just like that, only a few minutes after taking off, we level off at a very low 9,000 feet, making for some spectacular views just off the coast of Peninsula Malaysia as we cruise down to Penang today. And to my absolute surprise, I totally wasn't expecting it, but FireFly served up 2 complimentary snacks, some salted peanuts and also some cookies. So couldn't believe FireFly would be doing this as a budget carrier, let alone on such a short flight. Top it off, they even gave out a complimentary bottle of water. So that is absolutely amazing. Totally wasn't expecting it or anticipating it. So that was a really great little touch by FireFly on today's service. In terms of entertainment, there is no entertainment on a FireFly as you would expect of an airline of this type, though those views out the windows definitely serve as my form of entertainment. However, that USB-C fast charging that's at the seat back really comes in handy if you want to charge your devices for your own entertainment. That little device holder as well is really handy as well if you want to use it for your own entertainment. So yeah, definitely do a good job FireFly in facilitating your own entertainment, although I really don't think you will need it on a 20-minute flight. Otherwise, you've got the in-flight menu, so yeah, really good looking menu, very similar to AirAsia's Santon menu. Very cheap, very affordable, definitely look very tasty, those Malaysian dishes, and plenty of good snacks as well to go around. So all in all, this is just such an incredibly quick flight today, but what more can I report about FireFly? It's been a really solid experience. Certainly didn't expect much or really know much about FireFly before coming in today's flight, but yeah, they're very much well and truly met and exceeded my expectations of what I was expecting coming in today's flight with a budget carrier. So yeah, uneventful but very pleasant and easy experience with FireFly today. Anyway, I'll reserve my final thoughts and verdict until we reach the ground. But yeah, for now, what better time now to just sit back, relax and enjoy our stunning descent into Penang International Airport. Just like that, after only 22 minutes in the air, we arrived here down in beautiful Penang. And what more could I say about today's experience with FireFly Airlines? I really couldn't find anything really to fault them whatsoever. It was a really pleasant and otherwise uneventful flight today. So coming into today's flight, I didn't really know a huge amount about FireFly Airlines or what to expect apart from being a budget carrier. Really was just trying it out of curiosity. Was keen to try a new airline for the first time, and yeah, really didn't disappoint whatsoever. Luckily I was tossing up about possibly flying my airlines, but luckily I didn't choose them because they actually now suspended, and I must have come across some financial issues. So yeah, good thing I chose to fly FireFly. Really impressed with them today, and actually really don't know why I'd pay any more to fly Malaysia Airlines when this seemingly budget carrier gave out a complimentary snack. It only cost me $50, and that was inclusive of luggage and seat selection. So very solid experience today on FireFly, and I'd absolutely, in a nutshell, fly them again. Anyway, let's not get too carried away just yet in my praise for FireFly Airlines, because I don't want to preempt my AussieJetSetter Score Index for this flight, which will kick off right here, right now. So first things first, let's have a look at ground handling for this flight. And what more could I really say about this flight? The check-in process was smooth and efficient and was greeted by a friendly face at check-in. And yeah, my bags were tagged and dropped in a matter of no time. And then they arrived on time and didn't have to wait when they arrived into Penang. So yeah, I'll give them a solid 18 out of 20. No complaints here. Next up, we've got entertainment, and FireFly don't have in-flight entertainment screens, as I fully expected coming into this flight. So not really going to mark them down for this. However, I'm going to look at how they can aid your entertainment, and they do a very good job with their USB-C fast charging, which is absolutely fantastic. Even some of the full service aircraft don't have this feature these days. So yeah, that really helps you to keep your devices juiced up. And they also have a separate device holder that you can use to stow your phone and whatnot to watch your own entertainment. And they also got an in-flight magazine as well, which can provide some light reading entertainment. So yeah, I'll give them a solid 16 out of 20 in the entertainment department. Next up, we've got aircraft and seat condition. So yeah, it is an ex-Malaysia Airlines aircraft, as you would expect. Around 13 years old, so it is reasonably old, this aircraft. But yeah, I thought it was reasonably well refreshed since it's come into FireFly's hand. But yeah, the seating, while the seat pitch isn't anything amazing as you would expect, seats are pretty comfy nonetheless. But yeah, and I really appreciate that USB-C charging and a pretty practical tray back folding table. So yeah, I think overall it's a pretty decent aircraft today, especially flying a jet on such a short service. I reckon FireFly do a really good job in this regard. So I'll give them a 16 out of 20. Next up, we've got crew and in-flight service, and this is where FireFly totally unexpectedly blew my expectations out of the water. Really unbelievable they were able to provide any sort of in-flight service for a flight of only 20 minutes. Especially being a budget carrier, I wasn't expecting any in-flight complimentary snacks or anything like that anyway. So very, very amazing crew, really friendly and very efficient to get out those complimentary snacks in such a short period of time. Many airlines, including some full service airlines, would even bother to do a in-flight service for such a short flight. So yeah, absolute kudos to the FireFly team on today's flight. I give them an outstanding 18 out of 20 in the service department. And last but not least, we have value for money, and really hard to complain in this regard with this flight with FireFly. It cost me around 50 Australian dollars or about 154 Malaysian ringgit. That's booking it fairly last minute, only about a week prior to departure. So yeah, we're a little bit more advanced and notice. You can even get it cheaper on this route for sure. But yeah, really that is inclusive of luggage allowance and also seat selection. They even throw in one free flight change as well prior to departure. So yeah, plenty of value adding, I reckon, with this flight indeed. So yeah, really hard to complain, very good value. You're certainly not going to get these sort of cheap flights this often back in Australia these days. So really appreciate the cheap fuel prices here in Malaysia. Definitely a very good value for money flight today. So very hard to complain whatsoever. I give them a solid 18 out of 20. So all, in handing down my final AussieJetSetter Score Index for this flight, it comes in at an absolutely incredible 86 out of 100, which is one of the best flight scores I've given it so far. So yeah, really great flight with FireFly today. Really an unexpectedly great flight. It wasn't just a pleasant, uneventful flight, it was actually a pleasant and really good flight. So yeah, FireFly had very little expectation coming into today's flight, and they absolutely met and beyond exceeded my expectations. So yeah, Well done, FireFly, for an absolutely great flight today, and I'll be sure to be flying them again next time I'm travelling domestically within Malaysia, or potentially even between Malaysia and Singapore. And just like that, that's a wrap for our excellent flight review of FireFly Airlines down to Penang today. Really hope you have enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed the flight. If you have, really appreciate it. Do give it a like, leave your comments down below, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell and notification button so you won't miss the next of my flight reviews and travel and aviation content. Got plenty of flight reviews of other Malaysian carriers as well, such as Batik Air and AirAsia recently released on the channel, so you might feel free to check out those as well. In the meantime, you can also visit my website, AussieJetSetter.com.au, for the latest in flight reviews, industry news, destination guides, frequent flyer hacks, and more. Also put a link to my socials in the description below as well, so you may wish to check out my Instagram to keep up with where I am in the world in real time. Also may wish to join my dedicated Discord server for the channel as well, for the fans and community of the channel to talk all things travel and aviation. But until the next one, thank you very much for watching today's amazing FireFly flight experience. Until the next one, safe travels wherever that might take you.